Hello, 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 everyone. So welcome to our live today, and it's we're going to talk a little bit about how best prepare for a Microsoft exam. So this is Ask Me Anything. So just keep your questions coming. I'll be watching here the chat. So if you just want to say hi, just say hi, and of course, if you have your questions on how to prepare for the Microsoft exams, just shoot your questions. That's why we are here today. So just do that. I just have like a short, like presentation as usual to spark here the conversation. But so let's just go with that. And by the way, if someone is there and you can hear me, just say hi. Okay. Oh, I already have a hi here from Octavio. Okay. Thank you so much. That way we know that we're really live and everything is working, because I just had like some issues here before I just got live here today. But that's nice to that's always nice to know. Okay, so cool. Oh, and we already have Adrian too. Okay, hi Adrian. Also nice to see you here. So what is the agenda here, and what I have here today is basically first just why you should get certified. I think it's obvious because it's like super cool to be Microsoft certified, but yeah, also brings also some benefits in terms of job, career, and all of that. And then just some of the exam basics, how to prepare for a Microsoft exam. I have like my secret 4 steps that are not so secret anymore, especially after today, about how to prepare into a Microsoft exam. So let's just go with this. So why should you get certified? I did this poll, two polls some time ago, why people were getting certified. And I just asked this to people, hey, why are you wanting to be, Microsoft certified? What is the biggest reason why, okay, you are moving that way? And I got a lot of, answers on this, and the big chunk was to update your skills. And I was just like, yeah, I agree totally. I think this is like also my main reason why I personally, get certified on something, is because I really want, to get to know more about that specific part. But okay, definitely, I was surprised that with the percentage that we had with people, and that's good because Microsoft certifications for me, they are like super interesting because they are a journey into getting certified, and the journey, it's the important part in my point of view. The certification is great, it's just a validation, that my journey was successful. This is my point of view, of course. So when I have a goal, which is get certified on X, let's just say Azure, for example, Azure administrator, then we have the journey. We just need to know, okay, for me to get certified, what do I need to know? And I have to learn all that. Then I take the exam. But for me, the most important part was all that journey, what I learned in order, to be able to go on the exam and pass on that exam. Okay, so that's a pretty cool thing. Another one that we had here was recognition. People also want to get recognized, as an expert, as an associated on their field. So if I'm an Azure administrator, okay, yeah, this is what I know, and I'm recognized as an Azure administrator. Better career opportunities, sure. It's always nice to hire someone that is already certified. It means that that person cares. It means that that person wants to achieve more. It means that that person, wants to learn more. And what better to have in our world, that someone that really wants to learn more, because in IT we never stop learning, right? So it is really important. And then also for Microsoft partner requirements, because I don't know if everyone knows, but in order for companies to be Microsoft partner, they need to have X number of people certified on X, Y, or Z. Depends on the type of partnership, the area, they need to have that. So this is what we had here. And I was like, yeah, very surprised by the big percentage of people that just want to validate, their own knowledge. That was like, yeah, pretty cool for me. So let's start with exam basics. I always like to start with this, and I always do this when I'm doing like training and I want to help people get certified and pass on the Microsoft exams. There's always a lot of questions about, hey, how many questions will I get on my Microsoft exam. So usually it's between 40 and 60. This is the official answer, but to be totally honest, this is my point of view. It doesn't you don't care. You should not care about that. You're going to have the right number of questions for the time that's going to be allocated to you. And usually, if you don't fall in love with a question and you stay there like minutes, hours looking at that question, usually, there's not a big problem when it comes to the time on the Microsoft exam. You need to keep going, but that's what I'm trying to say. You should not stay stopped on a question and just look at that question. But sure, just usually that's not a problem time. So you will have some questions to do. At the beginning of your exam, it is important for you to know how many questions you're going to get. And you will know this before you start the exam. They're going to tell you, hey, Tiago, this exam consists on X number of questions, and and that's important so that you can, just manage the time that you're going to have on this. So that's a very important. I'm just looking here in some questions. Okay, by the way, keep questions coming. I will go through all of them, and you can ask more than one question. Okay, I will just pop them up when they make sense. Okay. Um, there is points that you're going to get for each correct answer that you're going to get in your exam. Usually one question, 1 point, that's the normal. Some questions, they have more than one possible answer, and those questions will get more than 1 point. So, be careful with those questions. Regarding time, so I say here plan for 140 minutes because that's the max that you're going to get. And there's a page, and I can just put the page here live in our live. Let me just change the screen here. Which this page is like amazing, and I'll put this here in the screen in just a moment. Which they have this amazing table here that you can really see. Okay, like for example, if we talk about those two here, okay, which is the associate and expert role based exams, you're going to get like 100 minutes of actual answering questions. If you do not have labs, if you're going to have labs, they're going to give you some extra minutes, like 20 minutes, that you're going to get those labs, if you get labs, because labs for me they're like super cool and super easy to do. There's like 3 points, but they take more time, definitely. Okay, because we have the real Azure, the real M365, whatever it is, and you really need to go there and actually do things. And as we all know, it just takes time. Even if you know by heart where stuff is, it always takes time to open the window, fill in the form, press create some resources, wait for the resources to be created because you need them on the next step or something like that. Always takes time. So you get 20 extra minutes if you're going to get labs. Okay, so that's a pretty cool thing that we have here. But like max, it will be 120 minutes if you have labs. Okay, if you're doing a fundamental exam, fundamentals, they're shorter exams, easier exams, and you're going to get 45 minutes of answering questions. Okay, but again, you're more than fine with those times. You also might get case studies. And what is a case study? Because there's a lot of confusion about that too. So a case study is, no more than just basically a big story about a fictitious company where you work, and now they need to do something, and they have some business detailed information, some technical requirements for you to do something. And then you're going to get like 3 4 5 questions around that. It could be like five, six. It really depends on the case studies, depends on the exam. But there is a lot of information that probably you're not going to need, okay, for the five questions, the four questions that you got, okay. So that's basically what we're going to get on the case studies. The question on those case studies, they're usually pretty small and they're pretty direct. The thing is, just by reading the question, you cannot answer. It's like, for example, hey, what's the best service to implement the HR application? You're like, what HR application, right? So, yeah, you need the context of the case study, and you go there, you read the context, and of course, then you can answer that because there's some technical informations about that. Oh, we need, this or we need that. Then you're like, oh, that's the answer, okay? Because of all these limitations and requirements that they are putting um, into this. So that's pretty cool. I love case studies. Some people struggle with case studies because they have a lot to read. I usually skim through the case study, go to the questions directly, and of course I can't answer them because I just skimmed through the case study. But what I do is, oh, I think this was around here that I have something, and I can be more, performant in terms of answering questions. I can answer questions faster if I do it this way. This is the way I do it. Don't follow my this tip because we're all different, to be totally honest, and I think we all have different approaches to this. I'm just sharing my approach to this. Okay. So yeah, basically that's case studies, but there is plenty more than just case studies. Okay. So one of the things that I love is this amazing website. And if you go aka.microsoft exam demo, you go to a Microsoft website that really simulates the Microsoft engine that you have for the exams. And I'm not going to bother you to read this stuff here. You can read this later. But let's just press here. Yes, next, and then see, this is the page that you're going to see how many questions you're going to get on your Microsoft exam. And you can see here, hey, number of questions. Hey, I'm going to have 10 questions. This is how much time I have for my exam, and this is the passing score that I need to have on my exam. And then, yeah, just press next. There's also here, some more information about your exam. And then a very important part is that the questions are grouped into sections. Just put that in a parking lot. We're going to cover that in just a minute. um, Case study is a section, regular questions is another section. If you have a second case study, that's another section. You cannot return to a section once you have completed that section. So if you say, I have completed this, done, you cannot go back to that one. So you need to be careful, when you really finish a section and you move to the next one, because you can never go back to the other. What we have here, and let me just zoom into this, is that we have a bunch, basically a bunch of questions here, 10 questions to simulate the type of questions that we have. Okay. As you can see, what I have here, they say here, this question is known as a multiple choice select one question. And this is the most traditional question. I'm not going to lose that much time on this. And you could just select one, and yeah, that's it. Then we also can have multiple choice, select multiple questions. And this is what we have here. They're always going to do like a small story about, hey, you are the IT admin of this company, the cloud administrator, the Microsoft 365 administrator, whatever. And then they are going to ask you a very straight question. And in this case, because we have to select more than one answer, they're going to ask you how many. Okay. How many? Like two. Which two, okay, fruits make a great snack in this case? Which two? That's the important part. So for people that already have experience with Microsoft exams, you probably remember a type of question that we had in the past that was select all that apply. I think this brings memories to some. By the way, just say on the chat if this brings memories to you, and good or bad memories. I was not a fan of those questions because we never knew how many were. It could be one, it could be two, all, something in between. Um, basically that was it. So here we can select two. If I try to select three, this is what I get. Hey, you can only answer two questions. So the system helps you not to, just answer like three instead of just two and things like that. Okay, so you can only do two, and that's pretty cool. And then we have other, question types here. This is the drags and drops, and you have to, drag and drop this into the area here. You have to be very, very careful, okay, with um this kind of question that we have here, because I don't know if you're noticing, but look at here what we have here. There's a scroll bar. See, and if we use the scroll bar, there's more options down there. Got it? So this is very easy to miss. Okay, I don't know which kind of screen you're using when you're doing this, but sometimes if you go to a testing center, they have very low resolution screens. So playing around with scrolling, you have to be careful with this. So that is definitely, definitely something that you really, 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 really need to have, to have careful with. That you have to have careful with this. Okay. But it's what it is. Okay, I'm just putting here, by the way, the people are asking me what is the link for this. So let me show you this. This is the link, aka.ms exam demo. This is what I'm showing here, and you can have a look at this. So this one's here. Hey, just be careful, and then of course drop the one that you want. It could all be home, it could all be office, it could be a mix. So you have to play around with this. Okay. Another one that I also want to show is this one. Like, it's the last one that I want to show. This is called a build list reorder. And a build list reorder, again, okay, and also for the likes of, I think Leza here's just saying that she likes that they are specific on how many they are going to put, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, and also this one here does the exact same thing, because if you see here, which five tasks should you do in the correct order to create whatever, got it? And you know that, yeah, I need to drag them like the five in here, and I also need to put them into the correct order. Okay, got it? So just be careful with this. Usually they are not that hard, this kind of questions, so just take advantage of them being very, very, usually they are easy to do, but just be careful with them. A very popular choice for this is, exams that you have some kind of source code, that you have some scripts like PowerShell, Azure CLI, Bash, whatever. um they usually have like snippets of code, and you have to create like a small script, to do something with this. So it's very, 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 very popular in those scenarios. I think there is one more, right? Now this one here you can check. This is just one, just to select something in here. Let me just show you a case study, because the case studies is the one that I wanted to show you. So this is an example of a case study. So there's a question, but then you have your overview, existing environment. See, there's like a lot of stuff here. And usually, see, this is what a case study is: a lot of text, a lot of technical background, business goals, plan changes, requirements for a specific application. And then we have three, four questions, something around four or five, depends, about this case study. Because this is a lot of text, what I was saying, I skim through this. Look, I'm not going to read. There's a server name called Tor OM1 that has this, and this, and try to memorize this. Now, just say, okay, there's like a System Center 2012 infrastructure, 11 servers. They are here. If I need, I can come back and then, research on the table. Next. Okay, just move on. Okay. I'm not going to read all this in detail. If I need, then I will come back here, and I was like, oh, there you go. Now I know the answer, because I needed to make a reference to this table. But I'm not going to read all this. That's what I was saying. Business goals, plan changes, here technical requirements, also the same stuff. Then I'll usually just go to the question, and I try to figure it out, the question, by then, looking around for the answer through the case study. So that's pretty cool too. Okay, so answering some questions in here that I got here, like if exams are free. So exams are not free. Okay, you have to pay for Microsoft exams. Depends on the country where you live. So I'm not going to say prices, okay, because it really depends on the country where you live. What I advise you to do is look for the exam that you want to book, and I can show you this here. So imagine that I want to book like AZ 104, and I'm based in Europe, by the way. So if I go to this exam, so you get to a page like this, and you have here like, hey, you want to schedule this exam. In here, you're going to see the price of that exam. In my case here, it's for the United States, but if I just change this, to another country, it will change me the price. And it really depends on the country. There are countries where exams, because economies are not so big and so powerful, like the US, Europe, etc. So you pay way less money for the Microsoft exams. Others, you pay $165 if you're in the US. Okay, as a reference for you. Okay, so I think I already gave you the link. This was, I think, was the link I'm at for the that exam demo. If not, just ask me again, and I will provide it again. Um, I'm at. I know that you have an answer for a question. Sorry about exam questions. I'm just keeping that for when I'm going to talk about exactly about that topic. But yeah, I think we're done with our questions. Okay, there you go. So we can move this away and we can back in here. Okay, so more than multiple choice questions. See, there's different types of questions around your Microsoft exam. Now, talking about passing scores, 700 is the score that you have to have, or higher. You don't need to have 700. Okay, that's kind of a running joke around this. Sometimes we say, "Oh, you need to have 700," but it's 700 or more, of course. There's no tips. Sorry, a tip. There is no points deducted for wrong answers. So always answer every single question. And I'm not saying close your eyes and randomly select something. I'm not saying that. I'm saying look at the question. And sometimes, you're not going to know the question. That's fair. That's what it is. But you look at the answers that we have there, the proposed answers. And in the proposed answers, you're like, imagine there are like four. And you're like, I don't know this question, this topic. I'm not very, very comfortable with this. But I know that answer, what that answer is, and I know it has nothing to do with this. There you go. You just improved your chances. And then a little bit because you have studied, there's an answer that feels better than the others. So probably, with a very good chance that's the right one. So always go with that. I think it's always a good idea, just to go with that. Okay, so pretty cool stuff, that we have in here. If you have labs in your exam, this is kind of what labs are. So you're going to have, this is for an Azure exam as an example. You're going to have tasks there on the right. In this case, I have 7 tasks here. And what I can do here is those tasks will be like stuff like, hey, create a virtual network with the following subnets and with the following, IP ranges, something like this. And yeah, they're not going to give you like instructions step by step. They just give you this. So you need to go in the portal and create, that stuff in the portal. Always create with the exact names in the exact resource groups with the exact instructions as they give you. Got it? That's how you get a score. You get a full score if you do it that way. There's some questions that sometimes people, and I already got the question here, by the way. Does it need to be in the portal? Okay, no, it does not need to be in the portal. If you want, you can fire up here, PowerShell, and just run a PowerShell command to do this. or deploy an ARM template, or Bash. It really doesn't matter how you get there. Um, so just do it the best way for you. I think, to be honest, for an exam, the best way is just go on the portal, click, 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 and just do the stuff, and that's it. Okay. To be honest, I think will be the fastest way, unless you really, really know your PowerShell, or you really, really know your Azure CLI a lot. But again, we're all different, right? You don't need to do those in sequence, those tasks. You could do task one, then four, then you come back to two, something like that. So, for example, one time I got an exam like this, and I had a question that, oh, yeah, I know where this is. And when I went to the portal, oh my God, they changed the UI of this. And I was like, I just worked with this last week, and now they changed the UI of this on the exam. Oh my God. Okay, I just skipped that one. I answer all the other ones. And then in the end, I went to the portal and I tried to figure it out where that stuff was. I'm just looking around in the portal until I found, oh, yeah, there you go. It's here. Oh, okay, got it then. And then I just did task, let's just say task two. There's no problem with that. Okay, there is no problem on that. Okay. So what's the structure that usually you're going to get for an exam? So you have case studies, you have questions, regular. I usually call them regular questions, and usually this could be just a structure. Case study one, regular questions. Case study two. I'm not saying it's like this. I'm just saying you have a case study, we have a bunch of regular questions, and then we might have a second case study. If you have something like this, each one is the different section. So if, for example, I'm here in this case study and I finish this case study, so I move from case study one and now, I'm here on the regular questions, I can go back and forth within, those questions, but I can never go back to case study one anymore. Case study one is done. Forget about it. Okay? You can't go back there. Same stuff happens when you move from here to here if this was the structure of your exam. So now I'm in case study two. I can move around within the, let's just say, 5 questions that I had there, for example. But you can never go back to the regular questions. Okay? So just be careful with that before you move from one section to the other, because you need to make sure you have answered all the questions and you do not want to change those answers anymore. Got it? So that's something that is important. Uh, I'm getting a question here, which is there a way to get past exam questions for preparation? I'm not totally understanding the question. If you want to, just highlight a little bit what you want to mean with this. What I think is, um, if I can do like exam prep questions, and the answer will be yes, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But if you want to, just please do the question again in a different way so that I can understand exactly what it is. I would love to answer. But yeah, let's just go with that. Um Also, I see here that there's a set of questions that you cannot go back. Yeah, there's like in some exams some questions that work like that. Usually they have a problem and then proposed solutions, and you just need to say yes or no if that proposed solution is good or not. Okay, and you cannot go back on those questions, and you're going to have like a set of three, and then you can never go back on those questions, because usually the next proposed solution might answer the question that was done before. So that's why they don't let you go back on those questions. Usually they are pretty okay, those questions, but sometimes there are people that struggle with those. So just be careful with that. So with this, I have some exam tips for you, which is set small goals on your learning. It's like, hey, I need to learn this. Sleep well before the exam. Rest. Okay, I know sometimes this is obvious, but sometimes people forget about that. So try not to book exams at like 10 p.m. and stuff like this, because it's not going to do well for you, because you'll be tired, so you probably will struggle a little bit more. Okay. During the exam, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. to fail on a Microsoft exam. To be totally honest with you, if you fail on a Microsoft exam, look, you can always take it again. It's not the end of the world. So you're good with that. Um, Keep an eye on the time, of course. Don't spend too much time in a single question. That's the obvious one. So let's go here with the 4 steps to get certified. Okay. So the 4 steps that I have in this, it's just super easy. First, check your objective domain, get training resources, practice, take the exam. 4 steps. Let's go with the first. Check the objective domain. So going back here into the into we so we were in the AZ. So I just searched AZ 104. Change the screen here. There we go. And I'm on this page here, exam AZ 104. That's great. And what I can see here is that just exam 104, the exam, da 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 da. And then in this page, there's this green bit here that tells me about review the AZ 104 study guide. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So we click on the study guide, and on this study guide, there is this part on the useful links. You always go to the latest one, which is the skills measured. And when I click on the skills measured, this will show me in the page what exactly I will be tested on this exam. So now I know that, oh, in order for me to pass on this exam, there's this section here called Manage Azure Identities and Governance, and I know exactly what it is. I need to know how to create users and groups, manage licenses, create administrative units. Da, 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 da. This is the first step that you need, okay, that you need to do. To be totally honest, just go on this and check exactly what will be on your exam. Okay? So after you do this, sure, then what are you going to do? Well, get some training resources. And for example, in my website, I have, some study guides for Azure because Azure is kind of my focus. You can find, the other people out there that they have shared some study guides or of themselves on, A, B, and C, like 365 Dynamics, etc. There's the Microsoft official courses that can be taught by a Microsoft certified trainer. Usually it's like ILT, so it's an instructor led training, remote, in person. Okay, depends where you get your training, usually through your company. Sometimes companies, they they pay you for that kind of stuff. There's also for people that don't like ILT. I can't be in a room for 3 days in a row, something like that. I prefer just learn on by myself. So sure, there's Microsoft Docs, there's Microsoft Learn, where you have tons of resources for you also to learn. And for example, coming back again into the exam page, okay, you're in the exam page for the AZ 104. This is the same for every exam. If you scroll down, see there's items in this collection, and you have here a learning path for this exam. Don't forget to click see more, and you can see here a bunch of other more learn modules. So you click here to start, and just go through all of this, and you have basically here a bunch of learn materials about, hey, how to use the Azure portal, and some pictures, some text. Sometimes you have videos here and there, but mostly you do not have videos. Okay, so you have all this. You need to be connected to the internet to get to this. There's no offline version of this, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And you have literally tons of content in this. Okay, there are people that they prefer just Microsoft documentation, just pure documentation, and then research on stuff, etc. And of course, then what about practice tests? So for me, practice tests they're like very, very, very important. And this is where, now I bring Ahmad did this question in the beginning of our live, to be honest. I'm so sorry, I only bring you this right now, but it's basically we have also free practice tests from Microsoft for some exams, not all of them, but the biggest, let's just say the ones that more people take, they already have free practice exams. I still prefer the measure up ones, to be totally honest. I think they're a little bit more thorough. They have more questions. The engine that they have is, more similar to the real exam. So I think, they have some benefits on those, but, they are paid. And, for sometimes, for some people, you can get them through your work. Sometimes you don't, so you have to pay yourself. But, they're pretty cool. The free ones, let me just show you where you can find, the free ones. So again, because they're pretty hidden, to be honest. Again, in this page, if you scroll down where you book your exam, so under this schedule exam, there is this take a free practice assessment. See? And if you click in here, this will lead you to a part where they're going to make, some questions about this. And you have like 50 questions about this. Are they enough? To be totally honest with you, they are not. Okay. I think you should also get something more. This is the answer I'm at this question. But then I'll just randomly select something in here. Then you can check your answer. Then you could see, oh, I got this wrong. And they also give you like here, hey, this is the summarized. That's the one that you should use. And you have some links here, okay, for you to know how to answer this. And so on, so on, so on, so on. I always answer the last one. I got this one wrong, right, but I didn't even read the question. And you have this here, oh, this answer is correct. Oh, great. And you also have, even when you answer correctly, you also have this. What I advise people to do is look at this, open the links, and know more about this. Oh, collecting JSON, okay. And then you read this, you do this, so that you learn a little bit more about this topic, even if you get this right. Okay, so that because in the exam, you might not get this question, for sure not, but you might get something around this, and learning and reading some more was very, very, very good, for you on this. Okay, so pretty cool stuff that we have with this. And then of course, there is like courses online, like like video learning, LinkedIn, Pluralsight, O'Reilly, Udemy. There's plenty of stuff out there. Just use the one that you prefer, to be totally honest, because just in the end, it's more of your preference. Just make sure that you do something that is up to date. Check the publishing date, because in the cloud world that we live today, stuff that has more than a year, that doesn't match exactly the objective domains from the exam from the previous slide. So this from the stuff that we showed here on this slide. If it doesn't match this, because it's outdated or something like that, you need to be careful with that. Got it? So always, just send a message to the author, say, hey, are you going to update the course? Not how it works, because this is different now. And they will give you some feedback usually. Okay. Then number 3, practice. Practice. Not just through questions, not just through reading. No, just for Azure, just open Azure, just do stuff. Create a lab. For Microsoft 365, same stuff. Power Platform, just go. Like imagine, I need the Power BI course. Yeah, just try to create some Power BI, dashboards yourself. Just imagine and have an idea, like a fictitious company that does something. Create a database, put some data there, and try to create some dashboards so that you can practice what you have seen. Okay, so very, very, very important to do this. And then number 4, take the exam. That's an important part, right? Taking the exam, sometimes there are people that forget this part. They always postpone this. But no, for you to be certified, guess what? You really need to take the exam. And you can take the exam on an exam center, or you can take it from home. On an exam center, what's the advantage? Just go there. They have all the setup for you. You don't have to worry about anything, okay? Disadvantage. You need to find a place that is a testing center, and you need to have one that's near you. If not, it's probably a big journey for you. So you have to be careful with that. That's kind of the downside. Is oh, and also you need to find a slot where they are available. Usually, those exam centers, they don't run every day. They usually have only like a morning on this day, or a specific day of the week, or something like that. So make sure you find a testing center that can have a schedule that can match your own availability. It's sometimes not easy. It depends where you are located. Okay, because really depends a lot on that. And then, of course, you can always take it on your office, on your home. uh, I'm a huge fan of this, to be totally honest. I always take my exams now at home. If I book with like 2 weeks in advance, I will always get the exact time that I want to start the exam. So it's perfect for me, that part. So that's pretty, yeah, pretty cool. Um, it has also some challenges, which is, look, you need to have a room with no screens, with or you need to cover them, and you need to follow the instructions on the proctor that's on the other side, and they are sometimes very, very, very picky, which is good in the end. Okay, which is good. You also need to find a place that is calm. There's no background noises. There's no other people in the room, so that they really know that's really you answering the questions. And then you have to be careful. For example, myself, when I'm focused and I'm trying to focus, I like to put my hand here. I'm not going to do it today because then you can't hear me. But I like to put my hand in front, okay, of my mouth, doing like this, okay. And it's they don't like it, because then you could be reading the questions to a recording device or something. I don't know. They have their reasons why you can't do this, okay. So be careful with those things, because you're always being recorded when you're taking the exam, okay. So that's it. So I have here some questions, okay. So Adrian is saying, really interested on the Microsoft 365 fundamentals. However, I would like to know if it's better to get Azure fundamentals first in case of need some cloud background before I go straight at 365 fundamentals. I think, you can go to Microsoft 365 fundamentals directly. You don't need to pass through the Azure fundamentals. There is not a big need for that. If you told me, hey Tiago, I want to go to an Azure data fundamentals, or a security fundamentals, AI fundamentals, I will say, yeah, take the Azure fundamentals first. It's always better. But for the Microsoft 365s, there's not a direct, let's just say, path or knowledge that you need from one to the other. It's always nice to have. It is. But if you can just go to the 365 fundamentals, and you will be good. Will be good with that. We have Jose just showed up saying hi, and we also have here Courtney, that says the Enterprise Skill Initiative is the best version I've found of the free practice exams. Is there a way to get those versions for personal purchase directly from Microsoft? So the ESI, now they use that free practice test that I showed, okay, for the AZ-104. And then for the other exams, they use the same right now. They only don't use those. They use the measure ups when those are not available, because those are not available for all the exams out there. Okay, so some exams, they don't have those free practice tests yet, so they're still using the measure ups. They used to use only measure ups, okay, but because now they are offering those free ones, they are giving those over there. So basically that's it. And if you have your questions, just keep your questions, keep your questions coming, because I basically have now just one more thing that I want to show you, which is kind of, just how to prepare for an exam And I just want to say, instructor like training, video, learn, practice tests, books. Don't forget books, okay? Because there's a lot of people that they prefer, just to read a good book, and there is always those exam prep for, exam A, B, or C, whatever. They are from Microsoft Press, the green ones, the green books. There is there's also other, Pact, I think, also has it. O'Reilly too. There's other publishers that also have the same kind of books, like exam prep for exam, blah blah blah. And just try to get one that you're comfortable with. And yeah, will be you will be it will be more than good with that. Let me just see here some more thing in here. Thanks for the presentation. Thank you. Also, another person is asking in here. I like to get an ace skill in Teams. What should I come first? Yeah, 365 certified, Teams associated, or there's a second comment here. Or should I take care of Power Platform first and then Teams? Yeah, well, no, that's a good question. Now you caught me a little bit here. I'll say that you could go either way. I will prefer to go Power Platform first, just because right now there is literally a lot. Oh, yeah, and you just published the whole question together. Thanks. So much easier to put on the screen. So I will say that Power Platform gives you the advantage that there is a lot of stuff on Power Platform nowadays, and a lot of companies that they can, and they really need people that are certified on Power Platform, that they really know how to do that stuff. Um, and I think you'll have a higher impact than directly on Teams. But then having both, really really great, to be honest. So I'll go Power Platform first because it might give you some fundamental knowledge on some other stuff, and then yes, then go on Teams, because Teams is a big topic, to be honest with you. Because Teams is not just Teams chat, is building apps, integrating Teams with a bunch of other stuff. So there's a lot, to be totally honest, in here, when we were talking about Microsoft Teams. But yeah, look, very very good questions that I got. So just reading if we had some more questions in here. I think I answered all of them. If I did not, just shoot your questions again. And of course, if you want uh, to make last questions, now it's the time. Okay. But yeah, so basically, just doing a recap on how to prepare for the Microsoft exam. You know, read what's going to be on your exam. This is the exam that I want. Okay, go check we call the objective domain. Then with that, prep. How do you prep? Like instructor like training. What do we have on the screen? Okay. Or video based learning training, or learn is free, you don't pay for it. Books usually, yeah, they come with a cost, but usually it's not that big of a cost. Video based learning training also, usually it's not a very very big cost. Practice tests, you have the free ones. Okay. So yeah, you might not get the most expensive ones that you're going to get, but at least you have those. So that's pretty cool. And then after that, start to practice, 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 practice. Invent something, create your own labs, and do your stuff, and then yeah, schedule your exam and sit for your exam. And I can guarantee, okay, that you're going to ace on your exam. Doing some, just last comments that I got here. um there you go. Is there a Microsoft certification specifically on SharePoint? That really touched my soul because I used to do a lot of SharePoint stuff and training too. And there is not. Okay. To give you the short answer is no, period. The long answer will be, you know, somewhere on the teams knowledge that you need to know for doing the some of the teams exams. You need to know your a little bit of SharePoint, but there's no direct exam on SharePoint, which is a pity because, as you know um, SharePoint is the base of a lot of other services on the Microsoft 365 platform. So having proper SharePoint knowledge is a must, okay, for the Microsoft 365 professional out there. But we do not have that. Um, Adrian is saying this dashboard is really good. So let me see what the dashboard is, because to be honest, I can't see it here. Yeah, I can put this live. I was just checking. I was just checking before I put it live, okay? Because you never know. Sorry about that, Adrian. Okay, but let me try to move this from here to there. How can I do that? Just give me here. Doo-doo-doo. And if you have more questions, just shoot them now. It's a great time for you to make those questions. Okay, and there you go. So this is basically that link. So this link here gives you, like some of the fundamentals, some of the role base, and with the exams, okay, that you get. Okay, it's a great, yeah, it's a good resource. Okay, you can also check, by the way, the latest live that I did, which was about Microsoft certifications. I created my own versions of that stuff, just focusing on Azure, just focusing on data, just on AI, etc. You can find that on LinkedIn or in my YouTube channel. So just check that. You will find that there. And yeah, so basically, I think we're done. That's all for today live. I'll give you like a few minutes back. It was a pleasure again to be here with all of you. And if you have ideas for other lives that you want me to do, just send me a message on Twitter, on LinkedIn, whatever, and I will be happy to prepare something for you. That's it. That's all for today. Thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.